The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
Greetings and welcome to another episode of Bermuda's Feel Good Early Morning Show. Good Day Bermuda, supported by Pizza House and Aliana's Restaurant. I'm Terri Tuku alongside Jackie Lambert, and we want to thank you for waking up early with us this morning to get your day started. Jackie, is everything okay over there? I know there was a little test that came by this morning. Is everything good? Well, good.
I'm still trying to figure out how it got in the house. Like, Terry's talking about the fact that she was talking to me. I just started doing this because a horsefly, got in my house. Like, I'm in the basement basically. So then she's laughing at me because all you hear is, and I keep missing because I'm hitting it, but I'm hitting it into air. So I'm basically just pushing it in another direction fast. So I finally got it, guys, after 6 strikes.
It was 6 tries. I was like, Jack, was that 3 tries? She got a little excited. I was like, okay, sis, let me just calm you down. It wasn't 3. It was definitely 6. But as you all can see, that
2.
Jackie and I are ready to give you some feel good vibes this morning. She got her guests out of the backstage area, so that's great for her because then she wouldn't be distracted by that person or that thing. And what we do want to ask you to do is, if you're just joining us, if this is the first time you're joining us or you've been here as a loyal audience member, make sure you take a minute to share this episode, share the link on Facebook if you're watching over there. Those of you that are on YouTube, go ahead and drop the link in your favorite WhatsApp group chat. And to all of our tweets on Twitter, make sure you retweet it because sharing is caring, as Jackie likes to say.
Sharing is caring. And be sure to subscribe. And so if it says subscribe, that means you have to click it. If it says unsubscribe, you leave it because you're already subscribed.
You've already done what we
go
did.
Subscribe in case the big 3 decide they want to take a vacation again.
Exactly. Mental health days are okay. We are okay with mental health days. Now, our feel good topic of the day is a Bermudian success story. We have Tiffany Fox of the Bermuda Youth Orchestra backstage. We are going to be discussing the importance of music education at any and all ages. Our feel good vibe of the day is joke time with Jackie. So if you do want to get your morning started with a laugh, make sure you stick around for that. Today, we're keeping with the music theme. We asked our folks over on Instagram who were their favorite hip-hop artists. If you haven't, let us know that in the comments. You can do that. But we also asked them about playing instruments. Many of us love to listen to music, but how many of us actually know how to play it? So we want to know, do you know how to play an instrument? And if so, which one is it? And I see that Jamal has a question, or he has a comment, excuse me. He says, I'm sure tennis prepared you to be a swatter when it comes to getting.
No, I got it. I actually make contact every time, but you know, if you don't put a hard surface behind it, it don't do anything. I found it through. I almost lost my shoe. I was like, yeah.
You didn't have good grip on it.
Oh my god, the shoe's too big. My hand's a little. Kinda.
Why she has a big shoe, I don't know, but nonetheless,
no,
Jackie,
wide.
Did you play an instrument in school?
Yes, I played the recorder and I played the violin. So the recorder, I was actually pretty good at, but I used to. Not when you're practicing. Nobody's ever good when they practice, but I was good.
You were good at the recorder when you practice, you said? Is that what you said?
No, meaning like I was really good unless they made me practice a new song. And it's just like,
oh, I was like,
get it? Because you'd be like, oh, that's not the note, guys.
Wow. That is interesting. So you said you played the violin. What did you love about playing the violin?
The sound. It's just like, I don't know, it was just very elegant and smooth, and I liked it. Like, I enjoyed it. I played in Port Royals.
It was in primary days?
Yeah, definitely primary days.
Okay.
Because practicing when your parents are trying to rest, my dad would be like, hey, buddy, so I got work in a few hours. Do you mind just like waiting until I go work? Like, okay, that's a sign that I need more practice, which means I need to wait till he leaves so I can really get it down.
And was the recorder like the staple instrument? Because I feel like everyone played the recorder in Bermuda.
Oh, and I played the ding 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 ding
triangle.
No.
Xylophone.
No.
Steel pan.
What's the xylophone? Which one's that with the multicolor?
Yeah.
That where you had the little drumsticks, but it had the little big ball on top.
Yes, it's definitely a xylophone.
Like,
Jacky's ever heard playing instrument she didn't know the name of. Like, teacher just said her.
It was primary school. I am 33. Let's start there. Primary school.
I love that you played the xylophone, and they probably gave it to you because you was doing too much of your hands anyway.
Yeah, well, because it was usually during choir. So no, sometimes like they'll be like, "All right, Jack, you're switching to sing," and I'm like, "But I was told to practice. I know the words. We all know I know the words, but I was supposed to be like."
You just wanted to
do
that.
I preferred it during Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas.
Wait, is that how it went, or did you just do that because you wanted to make the Jacky remix?
I think everything deserves a remix.
Okay. So clearly that wasn't.
Christmas tree. Christmas tree. I'm going to get one and perform for you guys.
We are excited because we don't have sound effects. So maybe if you do the xylophone, that could be our sound effect. We could just
our sound effect.
Jacky will just ding, or she'll do like her little really fast xylophone. I'm actually excited for that. Good morning, Sean Smith. As you are joining us, let us know if you played an instrument, which one. Jacky has played 3, apparently.
And I want to learn how to play the piano because I recently acquired one.
Yeah.
But it needs some loving to get it back to its original
TLC.
glory. And I need somebody to help me and then instruct me. But so Terri, you made a huge comment yesterday talking about wait till tomorrow so you can find out what instruments I played, and I'm geeked to find out. Like, is it a guitar?
So my first instrument was just like Jacky, the recorder. That's why I said I feel like everyone in Bermuda did the recorder because like that was like the thing. It was probably a cheap instrument too because it was plastic. But other than that, I too played the violin. I actually played the piano. I have a guitar, which I am learning to play. And watching the rest of episode 1 of the Evolution of Hip Hop series, when I got to the part talking with Grandmaster Flash, they were basically talking about how he turned the turntables into an instrument, because before that people would just let the music play all the way through, and he actually created a science out of like mixing and all that good jazz. So I do also have digital turntables. They're electronic, don't get excited, but I do have a controller to DJ, and I haven't yet. I have played when I lived in Atlanta. I did do DJ when I lived in Atlanta, and then coming back home, I just kind of didn't have a good setup to like put my little controller and play around with it. So I haven't done it yet. But guitar and DJ are definitely on my list.
Now, is it acoustic guitar or?
It is an acoustic guitar. I tried to tune it, but I don't know if I tuned it, and I have it's still in Atlanta. So my goal is when I go back away is to take it to the guitar shop and confirm that it's tuned, pick up a case for it so I can bring it home.
I need to take my nieces in, but I also need a pick because trying to do it with your fingers hurt.
You're asking for calluses at that point.
It hurts. Well, I thought my calluses were built up enough from tennis. And I was just like, oh, this is like violin where you had to like pick the note, where you put the arm.
The arm. I called it the arm. We'll have to ask Tiffany because Tiffany's a violinist,
I don't think
and
that's cool.
she'll sort us out. Jackie and I clearly are just terrible violinists. That's why we don't play them anymore, because we
No,
let
but I
that
want to
go.
get back into all the instruments. Like, I actually miss that stuff. I want to be that person that's just like, oh, look, a piano, and then just go up and like take
play.
over and just play. Like up Jasmine Lounge, they had the piano just sitting there, and I want to be able to go up and just be like,
And shock everyone.
can I take a request? And
We have a few comments coming in, Jack, that I want to get to
Oh.
before we take our first commercial break. So Shauna Williams says, played the viola in Bermuda Youth Orchestra and Bermuda Philharmonic long ago. Also learned how to play the piano, guitar, and recorder. Listen, the recorder is the staple. It is the staple Bermudian instrument. I am convinced. I am definitely convinced. We have a comment from Shouting Eugene Fox II. He says, of wait, instruments, they were bells, Jackie. I think I don't. Were they bells? I really feel like she's playing the xylophone, but we can neither confirm nor deny, because that was in primary school apparently, so Jackie doesn't remember. And it looks like Brian Wellman played the violin and the recorder as well. And he answered it first. It's a bow. It's not an arm. It's
Thanks. I was just like, that's
how we didn't know it was a bow though.
It is called a bow. Now that he says, I'm like, it's definitely a bow. Because I'm like, make sure you put your bow in correctly.
I'm just like, but how didn't we know? It's like, how could we forget? It's a very simple word. It's a bow. Anyway, it's fine. It is what it is. We are now correct. Jackie and I now know that we need to go back to lessons because we need to start from the beginning, the fundamentals. What is this part of the instrument called? The bow. Thank you.
The strings. Yay, I got it right, guys.
I can't take Jackie seriously sometimes. Shayna Smith says she played the piano, from about 6 to 19. Wow. So that means you can actually still play us a tune. That means, Shayna, in case you didn't know, if you don't have a piano at your home, Jackie has one that needs to be refurbished. When she gets that sorted out, we will likely invite you over so that you can play us a tune, and we'll record it for the show. Thanks in advance.
Tune.
And Misha Fublis says, yeah, recorder was definitely a national instrument, small and plastic. See, I knew it. I knew it had to be that.
Thinking about the recorder and thinking back to like how it was plastic, did you ever have classmates that you look at the recorder and be like, ooh, I would never borrow that. You have chewed that.
Yep, definitely.
Sorry, not to make that face, but I just think about all the stuff that's stuck in those crevices of like teeth.
Yes, and cleaning the recorder was definitely interesting. But we need to take a commercial break, Jack, because we have our guest backstage and we want to bring her into the conversation. So do not go anywhere. We are going to be talking with a Bermudian Success Story, so you don't want to miss that.
Same smooth sounds, different name. BCG Radio, home of Bermuda's most engaging morning talk shows, The Daily Hour and Good Day Bermuda. Download the app, available for Android and Apple devices. BCG Radio, your station for conversations and entertainment.
Welcome back to Good Day Bermuda, supported by Pizza House and Aliana's Restaurant. I'm Terri Tuku alongside Jackie Lambert. If you're just joining us, our feel-good topic of the day is Bermudian Success Story. Tiffany Fox of the Bermuda Youth Orchestra. We are going to be discussing the importance of music education at any and all ages. Before we bring our guests in today, we do want you to help us welcome Tiffany to the show by dropping an instrument emoji into the comments. If you played an instrument, drop that emoji into the comments, or any music emoji that you have as we bring Tiffany in. Good morning, Tiffany.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you for joining Jackie and I bright and early on this Wednesday morning. And as we started our conversation, we know that most of us learn to play an instrument in school. So for yourself, was that where you got started, and how did you get introduced not only to playing the violin, but any other instruments?
So first of all, I'm really glad to hear that so many people play an instrument. I actually got my start on piano. I have an older sibling and he played piano. And of course, when you're the younger sibling, you want to do whatever they're doing. So I picked up the piano as well. In school, I did play recorder, and recorder is a real instrument for those people who are thinking it's a toy. It's a Baroque instrument, and it was actually very popular for a while. And then in P6, I started playing violin and just haven't stopped.
I love that.
What school did you go to? I just want to know. I have to ask.
So I remember you, Jackie. Your sister was a year under me at work.
Okay, I'm looking at your face. I'm like, I know you, but I don't want to be that person. I feel great. This is amazing. Thank you. Because I'm just like, I know your face, but is it one of those people that I just see your face all the time and I don't actually know? Okay, I feel great because I speak to people that I all the time. But
at work
yesterday,
and at Summer School of Dance.
I love.
Oh, but I was doing my little. Did you do the butterfly? Where you? I was the butterfly.
That's your boots.
So yesterday we're talking about the evolution of hip hop, so just music all around. But do you remember what your first introduction to music was? Like the actual song, your earliest memory of music, and what made you fall in love with playing it?
So I come from a musical family. So
Ooh,
there's
tough,
always, it's really tough. It's always been music. So I loved ballet before I loved music. There's always, been church music. My dad's a bass player. He loves jazz and thanks, Macau. Hi, Phil. There's just always been music in this house. My brother dabbled in DJing and he used to have a whole sound system in his bedroom. And to this day, I'm amazed that he had a band in there. There's just always been music in this house.
That is so cool. That is so cool. And so just speaking about DJing really quickly, did you ever think that it would become as popular as it has become today? Because I mean, yes, your dad did it, but was it like he did it professionally or did he just do it on the side? And did you think maybe he should try to make it a professional gig?
So it was my brother who DJ'd and he was never professional. It was just his interest. And I really think he did it to rebel against my parents making him play piano. So he loved music, but he couldn't really tell you he loved music, right? And he still loves music. And we have totally different music tastes, even from me to my parents, even though there's always music around, we just all have really different music tastes.
That is so interesting. So yesterday, as Jackie mentioned, was World Teachers Day. Yesterday we discussed music, but yesterday was specifically World Teachers Day. So celebrating yourself as a music educator. Thank you for what you do.
Thank you. And all the educators out there.
Yes, absolutely. Now, did you have a favorite music teacher? Like do you remember your first music teacher? And then do you have a favorite person that was like the teacher that, you really, that's when you kind of made that decision, like, yes, I'm going to do music for the rest of my life?
So my first music teacher was Roselda Severin at Paget Primary, but she's now at Bermuda College. And my all-time favorite music teacher is Shine Hayward. So Shine was never actually my teacher. I was in the strings class. He taught winds. He was friends with my parents, but I was always in his room. And then as I left Warwick Academy, he would bring me back and I would teach his class for theory exams. And then he hired me to run another business that he had. And he's just always kept me very close and be like, Tiffany, what are you doing next? Tiffany, what are you doing next? And so once I decided to go into education, he was actually the curriculum officer for the Ministry of Education. He was like, I'm going to retire once you got a job. You and my daughter need to hurry up and come back and enter the education system so I can retire. And I did that. He retired, but he's still coaching me all the time.
That's so amazing.
So has he tried to slip in the saxophone into the list of things that you know how to play?
No, because it work, right? Like, you need to train people to be themselves so that, like, this weekend, he asked me to step in for him for a gig. And I did that. And I did it on violin. And I still get to be me. Like, you don't try to make somebody into something that they're not. You coach them into being their best self.
So let's talk about the Bermuda Youth Orchestra. How did you become involved in that organization?
So I'm an arts advocate, right? And violin is the most important thing in the world. Play more violin, right? Dana Seamus she's Dr. Dana Seamus now. She used to be the music teacher at Barclay Institute while I was at Seabridge, and we were just really good friends. And there's this thing that goes on where people want to pit Berkeley against Cedarbridge, and it
Always.
drove both of us absolutely nuts, because we knew that whenever we put our kids together, we just used to have these amazing experiences, especially since we were friends and we played in an ensemble together, right? So we said we needed a reason to put them together officially so that people couldn't pit the music department of Berkeley against the music department at Cedarbridge. Since which, Dana has left, Dwight and Sheldon have come on board, and we continue to just be very inclusive, that musicians between the ages of 11 and 18 can just make music together and just have this really beautiful experience with like-minded people who are on similar paths.
I absolutely love that. And just talking about the students, like, how does a student pick an instrument, or how do you help students like determine which instrument they want to kind of pick up? Because when you spoke about Sean Hayward, and obviously his instrument is the saxophone, but yours is the violin, and you were still able to step into a gig that maybe they were looking for a saxophone player, but they got a violinist. Like, can you speak to how the students are picking their instruments and how important it is for you all to just allow them to pick whatever instrument they want?
So depending on what school you're at, right, what school system you have and what your music teacher's expertise is. So yes, I teach band, but it's not my preference. I would teach orchestra every single day of the week, 8 hours a day if I could, because that's my passion, that's my area of expertise. Whereas Sheldon was teaching at Sands, his expertise and his passion is band and wind instruments. And so coming out of Sands, I had a lot of wind players at one point because Sheldon was there. And so it usually starts wherever middle school puts them. Okay. However, in the current system that we're in high school, everybody needs an arts credit. Lots of kids are choosing music for different reasons. And because of your schedule, what's happening is you're going where you fit. And then once you get where you fit, you try to, make it fit some more. So a student may say, I want to take music, but I've never played an instrument before. So they'll take that intro to music class. And from there, they'll say, okay, well, I want to focus on an instrument, or I want to focus on music technology and DJing. And as a teacher, you kind of flex and try to incorporate everybody, because one thing about an ensemble is everybody gets to give what's available to them to give and never feel like they gave less to the total product at the end, and you still learn, right? So if a kid already plays an instrument, they're more likely to choose a course that's focused on the instrument they already played. So if you took saxophone in middle school, you're more likely to choose concert band in high school. If you took violin because you joined the Menuhin Foundation in P4 and you really liked it, but you only got to do it for a year, you get to high school, you say, I'm going to take up string orchestra again.
That's very interesting. I don't think we had music when we were at Berkeley, Jackie. I don't like, it was more so
because
Woolridge had the class. Yeah. Okay.
I've heard so many people say that, and I think a lot of times, like when they're getting ready to choose, whoever's helping them choose is just picking up pieces of the puzzle. So maybe if you have an interest in music, your chemistry class was in the same spot. And once you started taking chemistry, you had to take a chemistry GCSE the following year. So you never got to do the elective that you wanted to do. And so it just wasn't on your radar. But I'm going to tell you, I love Johnny Woolridge, and Johnny Woolridge is probably one of Bermuda's most prolific music teachers. He actually wrote the curriculum back in 1997 for public schools, primary, middle, and high school. And he's working on the new one for Plan 2022 again right now.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think that was it. It didn't fit my schedule. And so I would hang out in Miss Ward's class, but like that was just like trying to like maybe get out of the class, or just trying to take a break from an academic heavy class. But I never got a chance to like actually take a class because it just never fit into my schedule. So
I call him the music genie. You rub his hair, the music comes up.
That's exactly it.
No, I had a music class with him, but we more so were focusing on like creating a CD, like an actual album. So we had to write lyrics and then perform, which was a group project, and it was weird.
But that would speak to what his expertise is, right? So his expertise is recording arts and composition and writing. As much as he's a pianist and a vocalist and all these amazing things, when it comes to music technology and bringing it all together so that you can share your music, he's amazing. And, you teach to your strengths as far as music goes. And students tend to filter to where their interests are. So a music teacher who knows that they have a class that we can all sing together, but everybody's not going to play an instrument, says, I'm going to make a choir, and then we're going to do this feel-good project that shows what we completed by making the CD, right?
Yes, absolutely. And so I see some questions coming in from the audience that I want to bring in. So Sean Smith asks, do you know if there is an increase or decrease in children learning music or playing instruments outside of school?
Outside of school, definitely tends to maintain, but I would say in 2021, there are so many more options of extracurricular activities for students to get into. So I know even Work Academy, who once had a music class and a music stream where music was priority for those students, and they attended a music class instead of, say, civics, now has just general music. And if you want to be part of an ensemble or you want to specialize, you have to do it outside of school, because students are choosing equestrian, swimming, football, martial arts, cooking, sewing, photography. Like, there's just so much to choose from. And then on top of that, on top of extracurriculars, there's now a community service component that isn't new, but it's the equivalent amount of hours are needed for a public school, high school student to graduate, right? You need 80 hours of each for over 4 years, right? So they're starting to get involved in community service projects that are leading to other passions.
Got you. That's quite
No, I
interesting.
want to switch gears to something like this is something personal to me. I don't know if you listened to the story I was telling Terry. I used to play the violin and I want to pick that up, but I recently acquired an old piano that I have to refurbish back to its former glory. I'm missing keys, but I do want to learn the piano and I do want to get back into playing violin and a few other instruments. Do you give private lessons?
I do. So,
ooh, I like this.
Let's talk about all the things, right? So for violin for adults, I'm part of String Collective. So String Collective has the professional quartet, and then we also have our community orchestra, which is adults age 21 and older who, like you, may have played violin in school and just wants to get back to making music, and making music with others is a feel-good thing to do once a week, kind of like adult happy hour. So
yes.
We do that on Thursday evenings. With your piano, Vernon Douglas has been tuning my piano since before I could play piano. So, and he's amazing. So I would call him. If you don't get in touch with Mr. Douglas, you can call Jared Robinson or you can call Norman Brown. But they all tune pianos and would give you next steps if your piano is in need of more than tuning, right? As for your guitar case, Terry, because we need to get on this. Like, why wouldn't we? Right?
This is it.
Amazon.
Okay, I need to sort my life out.
And you know what? On the thing that people don't know, there are laws as far as traveling with your instrument, which instruments are allowed in the cabin and which instruments need to be checked. Guitars and violins are allowed in the cabin by law. And if you can't find an overhead space for it, you walk back up to the front and you say to the stewardess, "Hi, this is my guitar. Can you find somewhere for it, please?"
This travel pro tip that I just got really blew my mind, that I was really sitting here like, oh my gosh, I can actually flex with my guitar on the plane. This is going to be the best thing ever.
You've seen people do it and you're like, did they really? But my violin goes where I go.
I love this. I am grateful to you for that, because that's probably that's also the reason why I left it, because I wasn't really sure the nuance of traveling with it. And to me, it's delicate. I've never really played it yet. So I'm like, I don't want this thing to get damaged before I even get a chance to like learn the skill set. So I was a little bit hesitant, but now I feel so much better that I can take my baby on the plane with me. This is great.
Yeah. And you can get a hard case.
Mm-hmm.
I would get a hard case and a soft case. I get a hard case for flights, and they call them flight cases.
Okay.
But as far as running around the island and on the back of your, I don't know, SH or whatever, I would use a soft case, a little backpack case.
Okay. Perfect.
Mhm.
That sounds amazing. I definitely am grateful to you for that. I will definitely be making mental note and coming back to this episode. So when I go on Amazon, I know exactly what to look for. We have another. Perfect. Now we have another question from Sean Smith. He says, do you think it is important for a child to learn music or play instruments? And I want to add on to that. If they step away, like Jacky and I stepped away, do you think it's also important for them to get back if they do kind of like, miss it or just want to get back into the space?
So Shinichi Suzuki had this saying, never too old, rarely too young. So no, it's never too late and it's never too early. Just get back on it. So it's like saying, is it too late to learn to ride a bike? I mean, singing is probably one of the healthiest things anybody could do, whether you sing well or don't. Like, get in the shower and your favorite song comes on, sing along to it. All of a sudden, those vibrations start going through your body and feel amazing. I know that when the children don't have Bermuda Youth Orchestra on that Thursday, they're saying, Foxy, where's Major Robinson? What are we doing? When can we get together? Like, COVID's really put a damper on the spirits. And they're itching to go back to school. Like, people are testing because they just want to play their instruments together, So it's a feeling of accomplishment. It's a feeling of I made something beautiful that can be described by very few other things.
I love that.
That actually kind of leads into my next question. I was going to ask about musical therapy when it comes to either like mixing it with for mental health or even for, say, physical therapy, like say you've messed up anything. Do you guys work with any associations to help with mental health and to work together with musical therapy for anybody that needs to de-stress?
We don't, probably mostly because we take for granted that that's what it does. I mean, it's one of those things that everyone who's advocated for music education or anything like that, we've said it so often that we just know that students who play an instrument do better in school. Students who play an instrument tend to be happier people. So we kind of take for granted that we're helping without saying, hey, we're helping with your mental health. But I do know that Windreach has a music therapy program.
Okay.
That's perfect. And so as we wrap up, Tiffany, I did want to ask this question around practicing and getting better, because Jacky and I have clearly made mistakes that we're going to pick up our instruments once again. And so when it comes to practicing and becoming better at playing those instruments and any instrument, how much time should one put into it, and what could an average week or day of practice look like?
So reality is the time you put in is the reward you're going to get out of it. So if you pick up your instrument and you practice for 5 minutes, you're going to get 5 minutes value of improvement, right? I tell my students, don't look at the clock. I give them goals. I say, when you go and you practice this passage, I want you to go and practice it 3 times perfect a day. So by the time it takes you to play it maybe slowly or at speed, 3 times perfect, that's how much you should have practiced for today. And that's your goal for this week. And then the following week, you're going to have a new goal. So I don't say practice for 2 hours, even though there have been years of me practicing for 8 to 12 hours a day. Those 8 to 12 hours weren't measured 8 to 12 hours. They were 8 to 12 hours of I was focused, I was engaged. And so I didn't really notice the time. I was just soaring away towards my goal. So a practice time is not something I advocate for, but a practice goal is definitely where you want to be. So if you were just picking your instrument back up, start with, I'm going to learn to play Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star this week, and give yourself a date, and then move on to the next. I'm going to learn to play John Legend's All of Me this month, or just the verse or just the chorus. Like, just pick a goal.
I love that because I was definitely sitting here like, I'm going to try to do this in 10, 15 minutes and I'm going to be great. But being more goal oriented definitely sounds like a better plan because that way, once I've achieved the goal, I can move on to the next and not really. I
Yeah,
love that. I
definitely
really love
chunk
that.
your life. If you're learning a pop song, you want to learn the first two chords. And then you want to learn the whole verse using those two chords. And if you're going to learn the whole song, you're going to say, okay, I'm going to learn the verse and the chords of the chorus. And then I'm going to play the verse and the chorus fluently back to back. So you really just want to set these small little goals and celebrate yourself when you reach them, right? So if today my thing is I'm going to learn to tune my instrument, when my instrument is in tune, I'm going to go and do something celebratory. I'm going to go sit in the sun. I'm going to look at another video of what I want to do next and plan my next goal.
I love that. And Tiffany, as we wrap up, can you let the audience know how they can get in contact with yourself and the Bermuda Orchestra to learn more?
Right. So to get in touch with Bermuda Youth Orchestra, we do have a website that's under review. It is bermudayouthorchestra.com, all spelt out. If you'd like to get in touch with us by email, you can email us at bermudayouthorchestra@gmail.com. And you spell the whole thing out. And if you'd like to call us, you can call Major Dwight Robinson at the Royal Bermuda Regiment. And his number is 705-8205.
Perfect. Thank you once again for joining us this morning, Tiffany.
Thank you for having me. It's been great.
You're welcome. Thank you. Audience, we're going to take a quick commercial break and then we'll be back to get your thoughts on our conversation with Tiffany Fox of the Bermuda Youth Orchestra, as well as Joke Time with Jackie. So you do not want to go anywhere.
Same smooth sounds, different name. BCG Radio, home of Bermuda's most engaging morning talk shows, The Daily Hour and Good Day Bermuda. Download the app available for Android and Apple devices. BCG Radio, your station for conversations and entertainment.
Welcome back to Good Day Bermuda, supported by Pizza House and Aliana's Restaurant. I'm Terri Tuku alongside Jackie Lambert. If you're just joining us, make sure you give us a reaction if you're watching on Facebook. To those of you on YouTube, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button before the end of today's episode. And to all of our tweets on Twitter, make sure you run up those hearts and give us a retweet. We are going to be dropping the contact information for the Bermuda Youth Orchestra in the comments shortly. So do make sure if you missed that part in Tiffany's conversation with us, do make sure you check the comments because it will be there for you. Let us know your thoughts on today's episode. Jackie, what did you love about talking with Tiffany this morning?
Her energy, it just reinforces that, music makes people better.
It does.
It does. No, but for real, I'm super excited that she gave me information to get my piano sorted and that I will be joining her Thursday nights. Not this Thursday, because I'm not sure when it starts and if it's actually started. But I do want to get in that. So I have to go buy a violin. I still have to hit her up to see if they have any that I can use while I get started. I meant to ask that question, but I have her number now. So I'm going to, I don't, but I have her information.
You do have a way to contact her, so you don't have to worry about that. That is absolutely true. And then, so I just wanted to say for me, the pro tip, like I feel like this would be the thing that I say forever. The pro tip around the cases, because that's really why, like, she must have read my mind. That's really why I haven't brought the guitar back to Bermuda, because I was very scared. I didn't want to pay for an extra, like, I didn't want to have two checked bags and then have to pay for a third. And the third is like super expensive. So I was definitely like, you can just stay out here till I'm ready to bring you back. And sort that out. And so I'm actually going to drop Tiffany's contact details in the chat as well, and then Jackie will get it too. Yeah, so you'll have. I
always assume that when it comes to any equipment that you need, that you should be able to put it on the main, like up in the main cabin, because I remember they used to try and make me put my rackets, like track my rackets, and I'm just like, no, because who's going to pay for the damages? And they'll be like, wow. I'm like, no, these rackets are $300 a racket, and there's 8 of them. They're going on the main cabin with me, or I'm taking, so no, like who's like, no, and I need them now. It's not like I have time to replace them. Like I need them as I travel. If anything could get lost, it could be my tennis clothes or my whole suitcase. Because in my tennis bag, I had extra clothes anyway, but I'm not losing my rackets. I will play the same clothes I traveled in every day. But anyway.
That's great. That's great. Actually, that's also great advice too, just in general. Like when it comes to anything that you're doing, like if it is the equipment, try to see how you can get it on the main cabin with you, because the damage to replace it and the time it takes to replace it could be way longer than just going and buying some clothes. So Jackie, joke time. I'm ready. I did pretty good yesterday, so I'm ready to like do great against today.
Okay. Why can't you hear a psychiatrist when she's using the bathroom, or he?
Why can't you hear a psychiatrist when they're using the bathroom? I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, I thought you had it. Because the P is silent. Sorry. What do you call an elephant that doesn't matter?
An elephant that doesn't matter. A peanut.
Irrelevant.
I really want a badoo. I really want that sound effect. I really want that because that was hilarious.
What do you get from a pampered cow?
A pampered cow? It has something to do. It's definitely moo. Something to do with moo. Okay, it's not something to do with moo. Something milk. Okay. I don't know.
Close. You were so close. Spoiled milk.
That's the one. That's definitely the one.
My God.
As always, Jackie and I hope that today's Feel Good Vibes has you ready to make it a great one. Thank you for watching this episode of Good Day Bermuda, supported by Pizza House and Aliana's Restaurant. If you are looking for details on Too Cool Tennis, I saw a comment about that. It is coming very soon. Jackie and I did do my very first lesson, and so we're going to be talking about that in the upcoming days.
And I have evidence.
Upcoming days, we're definitely going to talk about it, so don't worry. And we do have footage, so do make sure that you come back to see an upcoming episode of Good Day Bermuda so that you see what I did on the course with Jackie. We do trust that we will see you tomorrow for another Feel Good conversation. Until the next episode, peace and have a good day, Bermuda.